Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. We have seen the reports, we've all seen the reports of Prince Harry claiming to feel rudderless in LA, missing that structure that he had to his life, feeling lonely, feeling isolated, feeling down, feeling really low. And I would imagine that he would feel low. I don't think that now that they've moved to LA, Megxie has much time for him. I don't think she's checking in on him. She's getting closer and closer to the prize. She's getting closer and closer to what it is she's been dreaming about for the last 25 years of her career, which is essentially to be an A-list star, to be one of the most famous women in the world. This is allegedly what she said to her PR team. I'm going to be the most famous woman in the world. She literally ditched her ex-husband. This is how it looks in reports. As soon as she got onto Suits. And allegedly it has been shared and said that she married Trevor Engelson because he had connections, because he was essentially high society and quite successful in movie production and movie directing. So she wanted to marry this guy, but there was no real love there. Is Harry in the discard phase? I think he is. I definitely think he feels lonely. I think he feels down. So this new report has come out that Harry is desperate for someone to talk to, something familiar. He doesn't have anything familiar around him. And he's reconnected with his former wingman, Skippy. So Skippy was the character who essentially was left out of Harry's wedding reception, and it seems that they fell out after that. Prince Harry's former wingman is set to fly to LA to heal the rift as pair plan to meet up after lockdown ends. This is quite significant. Skippy wasn't really an important character in Harry's life for the last 2-3 years since he's been in this whirlwind romance with Megxie. He had bigger and better fish to talk to. He was talking to the Clooneys. He's been rubbing shoulders with Disney executives. He was talking to the likes of Beyonce and Jay-Z. He has been trying to network with the real heavy shot, big shot people. But are they really as genuine and interested in Harry as he possibly was in them? I think he's coming up against a brick wall. We know that these people would not have really been looking at someone like Prince Harry or Meghan if they hadn't come together and caused this ruckus and caused this stir and broken away from the royal protocol and royal tradition the way in which they have. They wouldn't have really been a feature because outside of all of the drama in their marriage, what was Prince Harry and Meghan Markle really doing in Hollywood? Meghan Markle wasn't even a thing in Hollywood. Now, everyone knows who Prince Harry is because obviously he is born a prince. He's royal. He's part of the British royal family, which has been going on for thousands of years. So you know it, you respect it, it's revered, it's tradition. But Meghan, who was she? No one knew who she was except for those who watched Suits. And that was only aired in specifically Canada. And not everyone, I imagine, in Canada was tuning in to watch Megxie on Suits. I didn't even know about Suits. I know some people have commented and said they did know about Suits, but it's all very regional, isn't it? She wasn't on an internationally global, successful TV show like, for instance, Desperate Housewives, which is something that I would watch, Sex and the City, which is something that I used to watch. Then there's so many other, the list goes on and on and on. She wasn't on a global scale. She did not have people running down the street and hounding her. Maybe she had it in Canada, but she did not have it here. She did not have it in Hollywood. They did not know who she was. Prince Harry has been caught up in this media storm with Megxie. They've become more and more elaborate, more and more confident in trashing the British press, trashing the British media. They're now suing them actively together. And I think when it all boils down to it, Harry's probably realised that there's nothing really real where he is. He doesn't have any real connections. He doesn't have any real friends out there. So he's now calling on this Skippy. So it carries on to say, Prince Harry and his former wingman, Tom Skippy, have finally put their differences aside and patched things up. Both men are now parents, and fatherhood has given them some much needed perspective. The pair plan to meet up after the lockdown ends in the United States, where they both live. They're going to meet up, and I think this is rather a SOS meet up situation for Harry. Harry is desperate at this point. I don't think he's getting much conversation. I don't think he's getting much interaction. I do think that Meghan has her hands on some very juicy scripts. I do think that Meghan has sorted herself out. I think her year is planned. She's got auditions in the pipeline. She's got film roles from Tyler Perry, possibly, that she's perusing over. Maybe she has some film roles from Oprah herself. We know that Oprah does produce films. Oprah is an extremely good actress. Oprah is a phenomenal actress. She is a phenomenal film director and film producer. So she probably has possibly something in the pipeline with her. We know that Harry and Oprah are doing that mental health documentary already. That's in the pipeline. That's going to be hitting our screen soon. So I think that Meghan is really busy with work. I think her dreams have all come together at once. It was always a bigger plan for Meghan to get out. Other reports have actually come out of that Meghan, from the very beginning, was isolating herself and not really interacting with anyone in the real fold. And you could see that at the events. You could see the fact that she just wasn't really interested. She didn't really care. She wasn't following royal protocol. She didn't give a damn about Harry's origin, his history, his culture. She didn't care. She was just there for the end game. Very determined, very focused, very calculated. I think now it's all coming to a head. Harry is probably realising, I'm in a loveless marriage, possibly. This is what I think. It carries on to say their once close relationship deteriorated after Skippy reportedly dared to suggest to Harry that he should think twice about marrying Meghan Markle. And we know that this is a similar sentiment that William shared. He tried to talk Harry out of going down the aisle with Meghan so soon. He tried to encourage him to get to know her, take his time, not move so fast. Harry wasn't having any of it. And what he did was he froze everyone out, because that's essentially what happens. And I hate to say this word, narcissistic. I hate to call Megxie a narcissist, because the reality of it is, I don't know. I can only judge on what I've seen, the interactions were at events and the stuff that she's done and the ludicrous statements that she has made. But it seems that Harry was love bombed. And isn't that what narcissists do? They love bomb their victims. They shroud them in this world. They take them away from everything that they know, everyone that they know that is familiar to them. And we saw that. There was a lot of flying, going here, going there, around people that Harry wouldn't even talk to, didn't grow up knowing. There was a lot of shrouding him in her foreign world. And now he's in the thick of it. And he's probably panicking. He's probably afraid. So it carries on to say, although Skippy and his wife, Lara, were invited to the wedding ceremony at St. George's Chapel, Windsor in 2018, they were notably absent from the lavish evening reception at Frogmore House. We know that Meghan probably didn't want him there. You know, Harry probably had shared with her, oh, Skippy said that I should wait to get to know you better. She didn't want that. She didn't want anyone, and she doesn't want, if you look at her movement, she doesn't want anyone who threatens her control over Harry too close. It carries on to say, instead they had to watch as the royal couple's new friends such as Oprah Winfrey and George Clooney made their way to the event. And what a slap in the face. What a slap in the face. That his childhood friend from Eton, who he connected with, grew up with, really knows through and through, didn't even get invited to the actual evening reception, and he had to watch people like George Clooney and Oprah Winfrey go. Disgusting, right? This is definitely, I personally think, the hands of Meghan. Possibly the hands of Meghan. However, Skippy, who lives in Washington, D.C. and works at a US tech giant, is making plans to take his company's private jet to LA with his newborn son, Albert, to meet Harry and Archie. Now, I don't like to really bash other people harshly who are in the Harry and Meghan fold and make it look like, oh, everyone that they know is a horrible person, because that's simply not the case. But doesn't Harry bang on about climate change and how we should be thinking about the climate, and his whole network, including himself, is very hypocritical. So Skippy's jumping on his company's private plane, albeit it's his company's private plane. Maybe that day they will be chartering other people to LA. I find it highly unlikely, considering he has evidently good favour in his company, good standing. He's a very well-paid position, I imagine. But he's jumping on a private plane. So Harry is surrounded by a network of people who just don't care about the environment. They are chartering private planes here, there, everywhere. And I'm not saying private planes should be banned, but it's just very hypocritical of them. Don't you think, guys? That was just an observation. And then it says here, a friend added, Harry and Tom fell out, but things are back on track now. I think Harry has realised he's really on his own. I think he's panicking. I don't think he really knows what is going to happen. I think she's shifting on him. I think she's transmutating. A lot of her old friends have said this, that as soon as she gets to another stage in her life, she changes, she shifts, and then she discards. So it goes on to say they've been through thick and thin, and while they did fall out, they realised that life is too short to be estranged. They would like their children to grow up together. The pair have been close since they met at Eton. Skippy was one of those in Las Vegas in 2012 when Harry was infamously caught playing naked billiards with showgirls in a hotel suite. Skippy knows Harry. He knows that he's impulsive. He's seen him being a plonker, basically. He knows that Harry is a plonker. And he's here for him because his friendship with him runs much deeper and way longer than his relationship with Megxie ever could. He's known him for years, and he probably knows that Harry is sorry and has realised, oh my god, I've messed up, I should have taken your advice. And this is probably a reconciliation for Skippy to get back in and possibly save the day. Skippy could actually do this. So we're actually relying on you, Skippy, to save the day and try and bring Harry back, bring him back to his senses, bring him back to the UK. We don't really want him here, but if he does come here, he should definitely be making an apology to the British taxpayer for everything he's done. But maybe Skippy could really unveil the curtain and make Harry see sense. I think he's realising that his relationships with these A-lister people is very superficial. They're not really interested in him on a deeper level. They haven't known him that long, and you can't really build a fake world, especially at his age. He's not old, but you can't just cut everyone from your childhood off for a bunch of A-lister people who are very busy. They have a lot of things to do. They have their own lives that will continue to thrive whether Harry and Meghan are a success in America or not, right? Anyway, guys, so that's it for now. Harry's desperate. Harry's afraid. Harry is isolated. Harry's lonely. I think he's looking for a conversation. He's looking for someone to talk to. And I think he's desperately calling everyone and anyone while Meghan is reading scripts. Anyway, guys, I'll be back for another video. Bye, guys.